Hi, I'm Dr. Oskin, and I am joined with Rachel West Kramer. This is kind of one of the most fun parts of my job, which is to really talk to a parent who's had success with homeopathy and natural medicine, and kind of share that so that it may inspire other parents who are maybe unsure about trying natural medicine and homeopathy for their child, or on the fence and that kind of thing, maybe have questions, just to see through a parent's eyes, because of course I can talk about what we do, but it's not quite as meaningful as hearing from a parent. So welcome, Rachel.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Oskin.
Maybe we can start this conversation by just telling me, about a little bit about your son's story, especially before homeopathy. What was going on in your home and in his life that was really leading to some challenges that led you to seek out treatment? How did that affect your life? What did that limit your family from doing, et
Okay.
cetera?
Yeah, that's actually a really hard place to go to all of a sudden, but that's okay. That's why we're sharing today, just because um, the value of hope, and we've found hope with Arizona Natural Health Clinic. So first of all, I just want to thank you so very much because you've devoted your life to helping us. And we're on our way back to health with our son, Weston. Weston was
You're
diagnosed with
welcome.
autism when he was 2, and it's been quite a journey. He's 23, almost 24 now. And I would say it was probably in 2017. We did not know. I mean, we were familiar, of course, and conditioned to the challenges with autism, which was plenty on our plate. And then in 2017, PANS flared, and we had no idea what it was. We didn't know what we were dealing with. And so, anyway, I'll just fast forward and get to when we met you. We were in a complete crisis. We could not go anywhere. We couldn't leave our home. We couldn't even play outside in the yard because our very dear son, who is normally very lovey-dovey and happy and just a joy, PANS had caused his body to be in such a state of frustration, anxiety, and rage that he would yell as loud as a Marine soldier. And so it's not funny. I just laughed because it was so awful, and we didn't know what to.
Sure.
And so we became familiar with homeopathy. Um, I guess it would have been like maybe a year and a half before we met you, one of your students who is now a very talented homeopath. Referred us to you because Weston's case was so severe. And so anyway, so just to describe it, basically, Weston, it was very hard for him to sleep. So we didn't sleep for, I think, a total of 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and just very sensitive system. Raised voices, any kind of raised emotion was too much for his system. I had to cover all of our mirrors because looking in the mirror was a trigger to the yells. I mean, just basically yelling almost all day long and through the night at different times. So I basically, as his mother, his main caregiver, just wanted to crawl under the bed and never come out. So it was
Oh, that's so
awful.
hard. Yeah, it sounds like.
I cried until there were no tears left. So if anybody
Yeah.
happens to listen to this later or even now, and they're in that place, I guess the reason why I said yes to sharing today is because I want anyone out there who's hurting like that to know there's hope. There's a lot of hope. And so just hang on and be encouraged. You can keep going and you will live again. You'll laugh again. You'll breathe again.
That's such an important message, and I am so grateful that you're willing to share that. And maybe you can explain, like, what did you think of homeopathy at first? Did you think it was really weird? Or, you know?
Well, what happened was we had gone through 2 years of a very severe flare of PANS, and it had lifted for a whole year. And I thought, oh my goodness, oh, I'm so glad we'll never have to go through that again. I didn't know that it could come back. And so when it started to flare back again at the beginning of 2020, I got on the computer and I started doing searches. And way deep down, I found an article, and it just occurred to me as I was preparing for today, just thinking about what would I want to say. I found an article that you had written of a
Oh,
case
really?
you had done, and I thought, how do I find someone that knows about these Latin remedies? I don't even know I didn't even know what homeopathy was. I didn't know. I kept saying homeopathy, homeopathy,
Mhm.
homeopathy. So anyway, I knew nothing. All I knew is that if it can do no harm and it can really help my son, uh, gain some resilience and his immune
Yeah.
system regulate, I'm all in. I don't care how long it takes. We'll do it. So anyway, that's kind of how I discovered homeopathy. And I will tell you, just as an individual, step outside of autism and PANS, and let's just talk about just living life here, as a
Mhm.
person. I love homeopathy. For our whole family, we have just completely embraced it. And the more that we learn about it, the more we love it. And I don't know how we live without it. So, I just think it's a beautiful thing. And it's so gentle on the body. And I know that it can't address everything, every medical concern, but I think it comes pretty close to addressing most everything. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
sold.
you know, um, I mean, one of the reasons I love homeopathy is it's so safe and gentle and works with the body to self heal. But maybe excuse me, maybe you could share, what is life like now? After
Okay.
experiencing homeopathy, how has it changed the family's life and Weston's life? Like,
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you asked that question because we're not there anymore. It took a little while after we started working with you, of course, because sometimes it takes a little while. You have to be patient. You have to be willing to be patient. But Weston began sleeping, and so did I, and that really helped us calm down. And then just some, he's not talking a lot more yet. We've had little windows of time with certain remedies where he started to talk a little bit more.
sure.
It gets encouraging, but I know that's coming. I know that he used to be able to talk more easily, not conversationally, but just, Mom, what are we doing today? That kind of thing. When
Mhm.
he in junior high maybe, and so I know all that's in there. We just need to get some more things out of the way. But I definitely a much calmer son. He doesn't yell. We sometimes it'll be 3 weeks before he yells. Sometimes it starts to come back again, and I mean, this, but they don't, a lot of people might not know. That just means we need to maybe look at a different potency or maybe move to a different remedy. And so
Mhm.
I've learned not to be afraid and not freak out, and just stay calm and trust that we're going to get back there. But he is doing so much better. We're able to go out and about. We're able to go out to eat every now and then, which is such a simple thing for most everybody, but it's such a huge privilege for us. And take him to the grocery store now, take him to the fresh market. Um, and, uh, I don't know. I guess we're just starting to live again. And I can tell that I'm starting to calm down. And honestly, that is, I guess that's just a big part of, homeopathic care is it's not only helping that patient, but it's helping the loved ones in the family who are greatly affected by, their condition. So our daughter, and I'm sure she would be comfortable with me sharing. She has been greatly affected by the stress that this has brought on our whole family. That's her dear brother, and so as Weston is healing, I think our whole family is starting to be more well.
It's such an important point. Like, we 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 focus on the patient, but it's really holistic. All of our lives get improved, and it's like you said, you love Weston so much as your son, but with him being in a state of illness and chronic inflammation, it was really, really stressful, and
Yeah,
it still can be stressful.
it
But
can.
it sounds like we're getting to the other side of that, and having some more days with peace, and times where we can do, semi, like you said, normal activities like going out to the grocery store or going out to eat. And, we sometimes take that for granted, but when you're in a chronic state of stress, those peaceful moments are just such a blessing.
Yeah,
And,
they are.
so maybe, one kind of a closing thought, and then we can wrap up. But what would you say to other parents who may be on the fence? They're not so sure about homeopathy. They're wondering, should we consider trying this with our son or daughter?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. By far, this is the best intervention we have ever embraced for our son. We worked with wonderful specialists along the way that were absolutely brilliant, so talented. But I will say that it was a lot to do and very little improvements, unfortunately. And I'm one of those. If you give me an equation, I will follow it to a T because
Yes.
I want my son to be well so badly. So it wasn't that it wasn't executed properly. It was just it wasn't the answer. It wasn't the whole answer, I guess. I mean, not that supplements and that wouldn't benefit a body, but in a good, diet. But I will tell you, this by far is the very best intervention with results. And more importantly, or just as importantly, I should say, is a lot of the individuals that we were blessed to work with in the past. One of the things that we always experienced was almost like a feeling of a dead end because they were very busy. And not that you are Dr. Oskin, because I know you're very, very busy, but I think with your clinic, you don't take on another patient unless you've got room for them. And so that you spend the quality time that they really need so that they can be well. And I found that these individuals that we work with in the past, they didn't have the time to help Weston really be well. And so we just had little tiny snippets of time, and it wasn't enough. And so especially working with Arizona Natural Health Clinic, I found that the doctors in this group, they actually spend a very generous amount of time helping us get well. And so I've referred many dear friends and acquaintances to the clinic, and they've been very blessed to work with you. So
Yeah.
I just want to encourage everybody that these experiences that we like I remember saying to my husband so many times, how did we get here? How did we get here? This is so horrible. This is so hard. Suffocating experiences. Not all of them are like that, but this in particular for parents or caregivers of autistic individuals or PANS and PANDAS, these experiences are so unusual, and you feel very alone because the people who want to be there to support you, they don't even know what to do anymore. They've brought you meals, they've called you, but after a while, you don't feel like talking on the phone. Especially if your loved one is yelling at the top of their lungs,
Right.
you want to protect your loved one, and you can't think straight. But I just want to encourage you that this is just for a season, and there's hope, and your loved one can be well. So I hope that just our short time of sharing will encourage someone out there.
Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for taking the time. I really just am so grateful for you to open your heart to share your story with others, and I'm sure it will affect somebody else. And just hearing your story, even if one more child gets help,
Yeah.
that's one more child and one more family that gets some happiness and peace and joy back in their home. And so I'm just so grateful for you to take the time out of your busy day to share that.
Thank you so much. Everybody be blessed.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.